Hello. We've done this before, haven't we? There will probably be more than one video this week because I've got a whole list of things to talk to you about. Number one, let's start with the beginning. Gosh, it's a shame that we weren't there to get the poetry. I want to show you, if it will open up here. This was one of the samples of pretty paper that I had. And let's see if I can find the other one. There, that was the other one. You can't tell from this. This was a brown, looked like parchment paper with brown ink on it. They would have made a very nice Mother's Day present, but you still have the poems, and I'm guaranteeing you a good reaction if you print them out or handwrite them, give them to your mom tomorrow. So, another good effort down the drain as far as I'm concerned, because we didn't really get to polish off the poetry unit. But it is time to move on. It is time to think about the next literary unit, which is Macbeth, which in a better regulated world with fewer ice and snowstorms, you would have gotten today. So, since you don't have your book yet, it would be hard to start reading Macbeth. I do have, however, on the Moodle, under the exciting topic of, let's see, major literary things, 2 articles that I want you to read on the historical background for Macbeth. One is just, text on page, boring, lots of information. The other is some of the same information, but with pictures and a boring British voice. Sorry, it's the best I can do. But I would like you to look at both of those things and see if you can get a background concept for Shakespeare's Macbeth. Several of you, I think 3 of you, had signed up to do your teaching presentations this semester on Macbeth. And that was going to start on March 6th with Anna talking about the superstition and the witches. We will not be ready by March 6th for that particular talk. So I'm pushing back the Macbeth talks 2 weeks. So Anna, instead of being on February 6th, you will be on the 20th. And Henry and Alyssa, you'll do your talks on the 27th of March. If anyone is leaving early for spring break, any of the 2 of you, Alyssa or Henry, please let me know, because that's going to come up the works here. So, next unit of study, Macbeth. Get prepared for it. It is a blast. Okay, moving on from that, let's see. I don't really want to jump into diagramming. The family history concept paper. You've got all the little bits and titty things done, the tidbits, the definitions and things like that. What you have to do yet, and will be due next week on February 20th, I want you not only to have chosen your literature, but to have picked out the passage or the paragraph or the comparison that you are going to use in your family history paper. I am quite sure that you have very little idea of what I'm actually asking you to do. I'm asking you to write up that section of your paper and your presentation. Have it ready. It's very much a draft, but it's time to start putting the lumps that are all the research pieces you've done. It's time to start putting them in a row, deciding which one's going to come first, and your writing is going to link them all together. And so next week, I want to see written your draft on your literary piece. I have an example for you. In the Moodle, under topic 6, I found this today and poking around. This is a former student's section. Now, it is her draft. It's not her final polished part. But this is the section of her family history concept paper where she compares her grandmother's experience and the concept of frugality to an article that is actually in your patterns book. It's called My Grandmother Never Worked, and it's a very good read if you want to look at that in patterns. And this shows how she worked it in. Here's the introduction, and now here's the transition. This story that my grandmother told me can be related to the story My Mother Never Worked by so-and-so. In the narrative essay, Smith's mother has just died. She has to call the Social Security office. She briefly sums up the whole article in one paragraph. Then she has a paragraph of some of the superficial connections and comparisons. Martha and her husband, and that is the lady in the article, married in 1921, bought a farm and had 8 children. Whereas my grandmother moved from Illinois to Maryland to Grand Rapids and had 7 children. Martha, the girl in the article, worked on the family farm with cows and chickens, and harvesting their garden. The family in Grand Haven, however, had some slightly different experiences. Both women lost children, interestingly enough. But this is, like I said, this is a draft, but it shows how you can incorporate a piece of literature into your paper. You don't just stick it in and not connect it top and bottom with your writing. It's the connectivity that I am looking for. Why does this piece of literature connect to your family and your concept? How does it work? That's what you have to have written out. Okay. This brings up the idea of the sandwich concept that I was talking to you about on Monday night. And I want you to know that it is also here in topic 6. There are all kinds of things here that I have. If it's not in topic 6, it is in topic 3. Okay, let's just go back. Here we go. Boring, I know. Okay, I have a lot of writing information in topic 6, but I also have a lot of it here in topic 3. For example, this is where you got your thesis statement stuff. Here's conflict. Here's a PowerPoint on narrowing a thesis. There's all kinds of stuff here. But what we want is the sandwich technique. Here we go. I did not use these specific words on Monday night. You should add them to your notes. Introduce, insert, interpret. And this is the model here. In his or her article, story, essay, novel. And then you give the title of that article. John Smith said, and here you insert the quoted material. And then the bottom, this is the top, the bun, this is the meat, and this is the bottom of the bun, which has to be strong in order not to melt under the juiciness of the middle. Okay. You explain why you're using the quote, in what context this quote was used in the original material, and what do you want this quote to illustrate. Here's an example. In her journal entry, dated February 20th, 2007, Diana Peters writes, "My most career-affirming moment came seconds after my most affirming moment was when the lights came up on the bare, black set of my first play." Production, in a sense, is the only way a playwright's work is fully realized, the only way a playwright's work becomes truly public. A first play, then, must represent quite a milestone for any playwright. Okay, so you can figure out directly from that. All right, I'm going to stop this video now, reconnect with my notes, and be back with you in a moment.